as key actors on stage and spectators at the gallery warm up for the forthcoming polls in 2019. What percentage of the electorate contending parties and even the candidates have the right level of voter education? It's question time. Welcome to the show. I'm Benga Ashuru. As we move closer to the general elections, it brings a reminder of violence recorded from some flashpoints in the country. More often, the youth are brought in the arm's way. Now, what's been done to give the Nigerian youth the right orientation on the need to shun violence and to also keep to the rules of engagement at the forthcoming polls? We had a chat with the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Garba Abari. He is confident the conduct of the 2019 elections will be free and fair.
A lot is being done by government, by other critical stakeholders, the political parties, civil society, and the larger population. You see, politics is a very passionate game. All of those that are found within the cycle of it bring in a lot of passion into it. To the extent that this passion is being seen, to that same extent can we say that the country is preparing, the polity is getting oriented, the polity is getting activated towards the elections in 2019.
When you say the polity is getting oriented and activated towards 2019 elections, does that suggest that it's following the mass induction of the planned national orientation, the expected orientation of the public in terms of international best practices and standard?
Thank you very much. I think that we are not so much worried about international best practices and standard. We are rather concerned about our own homespun best practices and standards, because our politics is peculiar to us. Our environment is different from the rest of the international environment. Our values, our morals, our culture, our behavior, our tradition, these are all different from what you find in the rest of the rest of the global community. So our main concern actually is to ensure that while there are international best practices and standards, these international best standards and practices are actually allowed to dovetail to our own homespun processes and directions. Now, to this extent, therefore, I can say that we in the National Orientation Agency, for example, have found allies to work with.
Who are your allies?
To work with in bringing about the needed level of orientation, behavioral orientation, political-cultural orientation, not only towards 2019, but much beyond.
When you talk of political and cultural orientation towards 2019 and beyond, with what is playing out in the political space, does it reflect that Nigerians, especially the actors, have the right orientation?
I do not know really what manner of orientation you are expecting to see.
No, we're seeing GALE of defections now. We are saying,
which has always been part of Nigeria's political history.
Is that the expected orientation?
This is not the expected orientation, but we are saying that it is not something new. And when it happens, in most instances during elections, you see in Nigeria that this kind of incidences do happen. And
does it shows that Nigerians are being inducted in the right orientation?
No, I don't want to say that.
So what's the role of the National Orientation Agency?
First and foremost, we have found allies in civil society organizations that are working in the area of elections and electoral processes. That's one ally. We have found allies in the media, through our advocacy and sensitization program. We have found allies in the political parties, especially working through IPAC. We have found allies in traditional rulers and the religious institutions. And also, we have found allies in canvassers.
What about the social media? Does it show they have the right political enlightenment?
I am not sure if the social media can be said to have the correct political orientation.
Is it that, National Orientation Agency is leaving out the online population out of this?
On the contrary, more attention is being given by the National Orientation Agency to the social media practitioners. For example, starting from 2013, 2014, and before the 2015 elections, the National Orientation Agency has had so many instances in engagement, conferences and workshops with identified bloggers and the social media practitioners. As recently as April this year, I hosted social media practitioners to a conference in Abuja, a one-day round table, where we brought about the issues as they are, especially about hate speech and about fake news, as in April this year. The idea is to ensure that everybody who is occupying a strategic place in the political or in the larger social sector plays his role according to what is expected of him or her.
Do you think the social media needs to be regulated?
Of course it should be regulated. Even in most developed societies, they are trying to regulate the social media because you simply don't wake up every morning and then you just begin to send out things and you call yourself a journalist. You yourself, your job is actually on the line, Benga, if I should tell you that. Social media, I believe, to the extent that it constitutes national threat, to the extent that it is becoming a threat to national security, to the extent that it can only propagate fake news, to the extent that it is becoming so pervasive, so unguarded, and that everything should go out as fake news or as hate speeches, it should be regulated.